Hello history buffs and welcome back to our channel. Today we re-journeying back in time to one of the most pivotal moments in world history, the birth of the United States of America. It's a tale of rebellion, of courage, and of a radical new idea that would change the world forever. So grab your tricorn hat and let's dive into the American Revolution. The year is 1776, but the seeds of revolution were planted long before. Imagine being a colonist in the 1760s. You've built a life thousands of miles away from your home country, Great Britain. You consider yourself a loyal British subject, yet you have no voice in the government that rules you. Suddenly, London starts imposing new taxes without your consent. First, the Sugar Act, then the Stamp Act, and the Townshend Acts. It wasn't just about the money, it was about a fundamental principle: no taxation without representation. Colonists felt their basic rights as Englishmen were being trampled. This wasn't just an economic dispute. It was a clash of ideologies. The cry for freedom grew louder. Tensions escalated with events like the Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party, where patriots dressed as Native Americans dumped an entire shipment of tea into the harbor to protest the Tea Act. Britain's response was harsh, imposing the Intolerable Acts, which only fanned the flames of rebellion. The colonies, once separate and distinct, began to unite against a common foe. The stage was set for a conflict that would redefine the meaning of a nation. As tensions boiled over, representatives from the 13 colonies convened in Philadelphia for the Second Continental Congress. The mood was electric. War had already begun with the skirmishes at Lexington and Concord, where the shot heard round the world was fired. It was clear that reconciliation with Britain was becoming impossible. The colonies needed to formally declare their intentions to the world. A committee was formed to draft this monumental statement, and a young, brilliant Virginian named Thomas Jefferson was tasked with penning the words, drawing on the Enlightenment ideas of philosophers like John Locke. Jefferson articulated a vision that was nothing short of revolutionary. He wrote that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. He argued that governments derive their power from the consent of the governed, and when a government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. This was radical stuff. After some debate and revisions, on July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress officially adopted the Declaration of Independence. It was more than a breakup letter to King George III. It was a birth certificate for a new nation, founded on the audacious premise of liberty and self-governance. The 56 men who signed it were committing treason, pledging their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to the cause. A revolution of this magnitude couldn't have happened without extraordinary leaders. At the forefront was George Washington, a Virginia planter and veteran of the French and Indian War. Washington was appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. His task seemed impossible. He had to forge a disciplined army from a ragtag group of farmers and merchants, and then face the most powerful military on earth. Washington wasn't always the most brilliant battlefield tactician, but his unwavering resolve, his resilience in the face of defeat, and his ability to inspire his troops through the darkest of times, like the brutal winter at Valley Forge, were what held the Revolution together. He was the indispensable man. Then there was Thomas Jefferson, the eloquent voice of the Revolution. His power was in his pen, crafting the philosophical foundation for the new republic with the Declaration of Independence. And we can't forget Benjamin Franklin, the elder statesman, scientist, and diplomat. While Washington fought on the battlefield, Franklin worked his magic in the courts of Europe. His charm and intellect were instrumental in securing a crucial alliance with France, a turning point that brought much-needed money, troops, and naval power to the American cause. These three men, along with countless others like John Adams, Samuel Adams, and Alexander Hamilton, formed a constellation of leadership that guided the colonies from protest to independence. The path to independence was paved with blood, sacrifice, and the clash of armies. The war was long and arduous, spanning 8 years and stretching across the colonies. The first major shots were fired at Lexington and Concord in April 1775, when British troops marched to seize a colonial arms cache, only to be met by defiant Minutemen. This clash ignited the full-scale war. Early on, the Continental Army suffered numerous setbacks, being pushed out of New York and forced into a desperate retreat across New Jersey. But then came Washington's daring crossing of the Delaware River on Christmas night 1776, leading to a surprise victory at Trenton. This was a massive morale boost. The true turning point, however, came in 1777 at the Battle of Saratoga in upstate New York. The American victory there was decisive, convincing France that the colonists had a real chance of winning. This brought the French into the war on America's side, transforming a colonial rebellion into a global conflict. The final act came in 1781 at Yorktown, Virginia. Surrounded on land by American and French forces under Washington and Rochambeau, and trapped by the French fleet at sea, British General Cornwallis was forced to surrender his entire army. The world's greatest superpower had been defeated by a coalition of determined rebels. The war was effectively over. The impossible had been achieved. With the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783, Great Britain officially recognized the independence of the United States. The fighting was over, but the most challenging work was just beginning. How do you build a nation from scratch, especially one founded on such lofty ideals? The initial government, under the Articles of Confederation, was weak and ineffective. The founders soon realized they needed a stronger framework. So, in 1787, they gathered once more in Philadelphia, this time to draft the Constitution. It was a document of brilliant compromises, establishing a federal system with a separation of powers. Among three branches of government, the legislative, executive, and judicial, and a system of checks and balances to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. It was designed to protect liberty while providing for a stable and effective government. With the ratification of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which guaranteed individual freedoms, the United States of America was truly born. It was the world's first modern democracy, a grand experiment in rule. The American Revolution didn't just create a new country. It unleashed a powerful idea that would inspire countless movements for freedom and democracy around the globe. It was a testament to the idea that ordinary people can, in fact, change the course of history. And that's the incredible story of how the United States came to be. It's a complex and fascinating chapter of our shared past, filled with lessons that still resonate today. Thank you so much for joining me on this historical journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the past. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.